All right. We left off yesterday talking about how we get slope-intercept form, because we need two things to make a line. We need two tools to make a line. I say yesterday. For you guys, it was on Tuesday. For me, I did it again yesterday. To make a line, we need two things. We need a starting point and a direction. The starting point you guys probably made without even thinking about it. As soon as you put the pencil to a paper to make the line, you pick the point to start with. And then a direction to go in, which we're going to use our slope to do that. And our starting point is going to be our y-intercept, where the graph crosses the y-axis. All right, so I'm going to recap this this first one fairly quickly, because I think I did it in most of my classes. I'm not sure if I did it here. But on each of these, we're going to get slope, and y-intercept. The slope is our number that's attached to the variable. Slope is our number attached to the variable. So in this case, our slope is going to be negative 1/3. That's the number attached to x. And then the y-intercept, remember, y-intercept I always write as a point. It's got an x-coordinate of 0. And the y-coordinate, we said since there's nothing here, usually the y-intercept we'd look right here for the y-intercept. It's not there. Now in our slope-intercept form, we usually say we're adding something. But in this case, we're not adding anything. So the same thing that means that we're not adding anything is to say that we're adding 0. So really there's a plus 0 hidden in there that we can put as our y-intercept. So if there's nothing being added or subtracted there, then you want to put a plus 0. And that means y-intercept is at 0, 0. Started our y-intercept. That's our starting point. And our slope is going to tell us negative 1/3 will give us directions that we're going to move down 1. That's a negative direction for the change in y. And to the right, 3. That's our change in x. So down 1 and to the right, 3. Down 1 to the right, 3. Or we can move the other way and move up 1 and to the left 1, 2, 3. Up 1 and to the left 3. And then connect it to make our line. So the y-intercept is going to give us our point to start with. The slope is going to guide us in the direction. That's how we make our line. Next one. I'd write these out so you get used to what's your slope, what's your y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point that I used to start with. Again, we usually look for it hanging out here. Since we're subtracting 3, that means our y-intercept is going to be at 0, negative 3. And that gives us our point to start with. This is the one we did, right? Yeah, that's our point to start with. And then our slope was attached to the x. It's negative 4/5. And that gives us directions to move down 4 and to the right 5. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or to move the other way, we would go up 4 and to the left 5. 3, 4, 5. Whichever way you want to think about it, and then connect that in the line. All right, questions so far? Okay. Y-intercept. Again, I always write it as a point with an x-coordinate of 0, so I know right where to put it on the graph. Y-intercept here, x-coordinate is 0. Y-coordinate, I'm subtracting 1 here, so I'm going to put a -1 as my y-intercept. 0, -1. So x-coordinate is 0, y-coordinate is -1. There it is. That's our point we start with. Then we're going to travel along our slope to give us our direction. Our slope here is the number attached to the x, so it's going to be what? What number is attached to the x? 2 over 5, 2/5. Our slope is 2/5, so it's attached to the x. This is a positive slope, so that means I want to move in my positive directions. This is change in y over change in x, don't forget. So change in y being positive 2 means we move up 2. Change in x being positive means we move to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or to move the other way, we could go down 2 and to the left 5. And down 2 and to the left 5. That would be moving the other way. Connect them. There's our line. Remember, positive slope should track upward as you track left to right. So as I track left to right, notice the line is trending upwards. That's positive slope. X-coordinate is always 0. Then we find our y-coordinate in the equation. It's -3. 0, -3 is our y-intercept. That's our point we start with. 0 because the x-coordinate is always 0. -3 because there's a -3 out there. So that means our y-intercept has to be negative. So we start at 0, -3. And then our slope is a bit different this time because usually it's the number attached to the x, but I don't see a number there. So when there's not a number attached to the x as a coefficient, that's what it's called. If there's not a number attached to the x, what do we use in its place? 1 over 1. Or just 1. Or if you want to think about it as 1 over 1, then you can. Because 1 over 1 will help me give a direction. Give me the change in y over the change in x. Slope of 1, it's positive, so I want to move in positive directions. That means I want to move up 1 and to the right 1. Up 1 and to the right 1. Up 1 and to the right 1. And keep moving in that direction. Or, opposite way, I could go down 1 and to the left 1. Down 1 and to the left 1. There's my line. Cried out saying, wait. So I'm assuming we're fine. Next two. These are the ones I want you to try on your own. All right. I think we're ready. Let's go the other way. Which is, here's the graph, what's the equation? I'm skipping 13. I'm going right to 14. And then the 15. Here we go. Same steps. I want to figure out what my slope is. I want to figure out what my y-intercept is. We'll start with the y-intercept. This time I just want to look at the y-axis. Want to look at the y-axis and figure out where's the line pass it. Where does the line pass it? It passes it, boom, right here. That point is at 0, 3. There's my y-intercept. What's my slope? Well, I want to find another point on the graph. So let's find another point on the graph. The next point I see is right here. What are my directions to get there? To get from here to this point, we would move down 1 and to the right 1. Down 1 and to the right 1. Down is a negative direction for y. And to the right is a positive direction for x. So change in y over change in x is going to be negative 1 over 1, which is negative 1. So that means when we go to write our equation, we've got y equals, well, the slope we want to attach to our x. So let's attach to negative 1 there. And then our y-intercept is at 0, 3. So the 3 is what goes into the equation, plus 3. And there's our equation of the line. Remember we said that 1's attached to x, don't have anything implied there, so we could just strip the 1 off and say that it's negative x plus 3. That's the way you'll see it written a lot of the time. But if you want to write the negative 1 there, feel free. Next. We need our slope and we need our y-intercept. Our y-intercept, we want to look at the place we want to start. We want to track up here and look for where our graph crosses the y-axis. Boom, it's right there. What is that point? 0, 4. X-coordinate's always 0, and the y-coordinate there is 4. Slope. The next point I see is right there. So we want the instructions on how to get to that point. From this point, change in y. We're moving up or down? We're moving down 1. So change in y, we're moving down 1. Over change in x, we're moving to the right 2. So that's going to turn into a slope of negative 1. Down is a negative direction. Over 2. 2 is positive since right is a positive direction. So negative 1/2 is our slope. So we're turning it into the equation. Slope gets attached to the x. And then y-intercept hangs out here, plus 4. There's our equation. So it's just thinking about it the other way. But the idea is the same. We want to start at the y-intercept and then count our slopes. Figure out what the slope and y-intercept are, and then use that to get our equation. Questions on any of that? Hopefully we're feeling fairly confident on the basics of graphing a line. Okay, quick rundown of what you have to do. These notes, now that they should be done. If you're not done with them, then finish them up. And then you should be able to turn them in on Canvas. So you need to take a picture and turn them in through Canvas. And then you'll have an online assignment to do, and that's through, used to be called Pearson Realize, and they've rebranded, so now it's called Savvis Realize. But it's the same website that you should have used last year. Same online textbook. Should have your same sign-in to get there. So you got an online assignment there, and you have the notes to turn it on Canvas. So I'm going to give you a bit of time to